What's up, guys? How are you? Time for a Thursday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. We are here every morning wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube and all over the place, it seems. It's been a ton of fun. The Discord channel was hopping yesterday. We are near the end of the regular season in the NBA and the NHL. Last game of the regular season in the NHL today. And we are always found here on BettingPros.com. All right, so here's where we were yesterday. I added a bunch. 2 player props I added. We've now gone 5-1 over the last 6 player props. 2-0 again, 4-0 last 2 days on the player props. So that was really great. Luka got there for us. Bogdanovich as well got there for us, so we hit on both of those. I added the Vegas Golden Knights on the puck line. That cashed. I added the Kings on the reverse puck line. That did not cash, but the plus 120 on the Golden Knights getting the puck line, winning 6-0. That was easy, and it stayed under 6.5, so we got that right. The White Sox win as well on the money line, so we got that right. The Wild lose, so we don't get that right, but a 5-2 night for us on the podcast last night is good. It's up. Love it. Let's keep it rolling here into a Thursday. All right, so yesterday was NFL schedule release day, and I gave you a bet on the Discord channel, and this is why it's so important to be on the Discord channel. If you are a listener to the Daily Juice, I find value in certain plays, and I found value in the Raiders win total that I told you about on the Discord channel, and the number has since moved. But I am counting the number as to the number I told you to bet, and where to bet it, and where to find it, because I bet it, and I found it. And it was a full unit wager that I made. And I'm going to explain here. A lot of you guys were saying, well, Matt, why did you make that bet? What did you see? I'm going to explain to you why I made that bet coming up here on the podcast. I do have a golf bet that I am making that I like a lot. And it's really heavy on the juice. So I'm going to roll a full unit on it. And I might really regret it, but I love the matchup. I'm not sure you guys are going to be able to get it everywhere, but I found it at Circus Sports here in Vegas, and I laid it. It's really heavy on the juice, but this involved one golfer who's playing really well for the Byron Nelson coming up starting today, and I've got 2 NBA plays to tell you about that you guys can hop in on, one of which I would recommend using for the BetMGM offer. Okay, I'll tell you right here, we're going to take the Knicks on the first half. I don't know where the number is going to be as of yet. 4.5 is the number. It's probably 2.5 for the Knicks tonight. At home, Knicks are laying 4.5 overall, and I think this is a good time to jump in here and use this against the Spurs for the Knicks. And this is the offer from BetMGM that we've told you guys about quite a bit, which is basically you bet $20 to win $100 on any event. It's a very cool deal because you either win your bet or you win $100 in free bets regardless of the outcome. You can use this when you sign up for a BetMGM account using the promo code JUICE100. This is available in New Jersey, Colorado, Indiana, West Virginia, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Virginia, and Iowa. You bet $20, you win $100 on any event. Why not use it for the Knicks in the first half? I don't know the number yet, okay? But when it comes out, when you're listening to this, you should be able to get it day of. Bet the Knicks in the first half, okay? So let's start right there as to why I'm saying bet the Knicks in the first half. Betting the Knicks in the first half is this. The Knicks have been extremely profitable here over this year, 39, 28-1 against the number in the first quarter for the New York Knicks. In the first half, the New York Knicks are still the best in the entire NBA, 45, 21-2 for the Knicks in the first half. They're 21-12 at home in the first half. They are 7-3 to the number over the last 10. They are the number 1 team by far in terms of against the spread record. At home, they are number 4 in terms of being 21-12, up 2.76 units. On the road, they're even better on the road. They're the number 1 team in the NBA on the road, 24-9-2 overall against the number on the road, but still very good at home. 7-3 overall over the last 10, up 2.2 units over the last 10. Knicks have been solid to bet this. We're going Knicks in the first half, laying 2.5 here against the San Antonio Spurs for the first play for us here today for a half a unit. I'm taking the other half a unit, and we're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls taking on the Toronto Raptors, who have completely and totally punted on this season. Toronto is 30, 38-1 to the number. Chicago is 36-33 to the number. Over the last 5, Toronto is 2-2-1 to the number. Chicago is 3-2. Over the last 10, Toronto is 4-5-1 to the number, and they've lost 3 straight to the number. They're 4-6 Chicago to the number overall. Now, Chicago lost by 8 as 4.5-point dogs to Brooklyn, but before that, they beat Detroit as 9.5-point favorites. They won by 12. They were 4-point dogs to Boston. They won by 22. And they were 4.5-point favorites against Charlotte, and they won by 21. The Bulls are technically not mathematically eliminated yet from the play-in tournament. It's incredibly impossible for them to make it. They're not making it, but they're going into the game tonight, at least with Zach LaVine still playing. All right, this might be the last game he really plays hard in, and the Toronto Raptors have packed it in. The Raptors now have lost. Overall, they've lost 7 of 8. They've covered only 3 of their last 6 games. The last 3 games, 13.5-point dogs to the Clippers, lost by 19. 6.5-point dogs to Memphis, lost by 10. 2-point dogs to Washington, they lost by 2, so technically a push. They lost by 5 to the Clippers as 11-point dogs, and they won by 7 against the Lakers as 10-point dogs. And they covered against Utah. But before that, catching 5 from Denver, lost by 10. Catching 4.5 to Brooklyn, lost by 13. They're laying 9 here to Chicago. They just want to go play golf. They don't want to be a part of this at all. This is just, it's a road trip to Chicago. Bulls are at home. Bulls at home aren't great to the number, 14-20 to the number. But I think here in this spot, maybe the last time they took on Boston at home as 4-point dogs and won by 22. They lost their last game out to Brooklyn by 4.5 as 4.5-point dogs, losing by 8. So they're favored here. It's a chance to end the year, end things on a higher note, if you will, against a really bad team in Toronto that doesn't want to be on the road here. I'll lay the 9 points with Chicago. It's a little bit of a crazy game because Chicago's got to have Zach LaVine go off tonight. So maybe we'll eyeball a Zach LaVine prop tonight, but I'm going to lay the 9, Chicago -9, taking on the Toronto Raptors here tonight. So Knicks first half, I don't have the number exactly, but we're going to bet the Knicks in the first half, -2, 2.5. Then you got Chicago -9, both for a half a unit for 2 NBA plays going tonight, okay? We have 2 NBA prop bets that will be going as well, all right? So we'll have those for you in the Discord channel. The link is below me on the YouTube channel, or you guys can go there with bettingpros.com/chat to get into the YouTube channel. That's where I add, that's where I post things, and that's where I put this Raiders bet. All right, let's get into this. The schedule came out. FanDuel posted a win total of 6.5 for the Las Vegas Raiders. 17-game schedule. It was a mistake. It was way too low. It has since moved. It is since now 7, 7.5. I hope you guys get it at 7. I'm still okay with betting this at 7. But 6.5, I was all over it. I bet a full unit on this bet, okay? I bet it's just, -110, full unit on the Vegas Raiders to win more than 6.5 games, to win 7 games. So a bunch of you were like, okay, Matt, why are you doing that with Vegas? And I've got to be honest, I was pretty shocked. Actually, you know what? Sorry, it was -130 because it still is 6.5. It hasn't moved. Somebody told me it moved. It hasn't moved. It's 6.5 -130. I didn't bet -110. I bet -130. It's still there right now. So that's wrong. I'm sorry. Somebody told me that on the Discord channel that had gone to 7. It was 7 at DraftKings. It's still 6.5 today at what I'm seeing here for FanDuel. It's still 6.5 at -130. Pay the juice, full unit bet. Here's why, okay? So Vegas has the second hardest schedule on paper right now behind the Steelers. The Steelers have the full number 1 strength of schedule, hardest schedule for anybody. Steelers 1, Raiders 2. So you might go, they're going to be in trouble. Look it, this is all off last year, right? I mean, we don't know what teams are going to look like. All the time, last year's schedule, throw it out the window, man. No fans, no home field advantage. When I tell you that Vegas is going to be one of the hardest places to play in the entire NFL, coming here to Vegas is going to be a problem. People have been locked up in their houses for a year. These players have been locked up for a year, and they're coming to the party capital of America, and they're millionaires. This is going to be the biggest problem for every head coach coming on the road as to when do they show up to play this game. Because if they come in on Friday, look out. This is going to be party central on Friday into Saturday, and then you might lose track of your players. The Vegas Golden Knights had a thing called the Vegas flu. In the first year of existence, teams that showed up to play here in Vegas got curb stomped because Vegas was good and the home atmosphere was insane. There's going to be a club with 2 DJs in the end zone called the Wynn Field Club here at Allegiant Stadium. We haven't had 60,000 people yet partying all day for a game. The Ravens are walking into an absolute buzzsaw on Monday Night Football. Okay? How do I know that? Well, the rest of the country has the line at 6.5 for the Ravens. Here in Vegas, it's 4. Why? Because the locals are going to come in and bet the over, and they're going to bet the home team like crazy. And so they're shading it already. But I'm telling you, even though some people are going to punch holes in the Raiders, they're better than people think. Derek Carr is better than people think. You've got Josh Jacobs, you've got Waller, and you've got a team that I think people need to stop sleeping on. They beat the Chiefs at the Chiefs last year. People just forget that happened, that the Raiders were able to do that because they think, it's John Gruden. Ha ha, they stink. All right? This is a tough schedule. I'm not debating it. However, I think Henry Ruggs takes a step. I think you've got some decent wide receiving options. I think John Brown could be a really interesting weapon here with Ruggs and Brown on either side. You got burners to open up the middle part of the field for Darren Waller to go to work. You've got Willie Snead, who's been coming over, who's been a reliable third down receiver. Hunter Renfrow in the slot. Yeah, you drafted Alex Leatherwood to protect and increase the offensive line in the first round. You brought back Richie Incognito. Sure, their defense needs some help, but they made a draft pick and they've got Trayvon Moehrig, who most likely should have been a first-round pick, and now he's going to be a free safety. Got him in the third-round pick. Yannick Ngakoue, former Raven, now to help coming off the edge. You need Cleveland Farrell to continue to develop and take a step forward. But you got Jonathan Abram back off of injury. You've got Damon Arnett, who needs to take a step forward. Casey Hayward was signed from the Los Angeles Chargers, coming over. So let's look at the schedule, right? Where can I find 7 wins? I have them beating the Ravens outright in game 1. All right? Allegiant, it's going to be a full house. 60,000 screaming fans. Monday Night Football. Electric atmosphere. Insane atmosphere. I like the Raiders to win game 1. On the road at the Steelers in week 2 is a loss. 1 win so far. Home for the Dolphins. Win. There's 2. On the road at the Chargers, tough place to play. Raiders have won there before at SoFi. Maybe that's a loss. Home for the Bears. Win. At the Broncos. Tough place to play, but the Broncos might not be any good. That's a coin flip, okay? But I don't need that game. That's a coin flip. Home game versus the Eagles. Win, okay? Ravens, Dolphins, Bears, Eagles. 4 wins before the bye week. Week 8, great time for the bye, okay? At New York, off the bye. Win. We got 5 wins. On the road at Kansas City. Yikes. Not going to deny it. Really hard place to play. Revenge on the mind for the Chiefs after that game last year. But that Chiefs is, that's a home game. Raiders almost beat the Chiefs last year here in Vegas and beat them at Arrowhead in Kansas City. Could they win that game? Maybe. I don't need it. Okay, I got 5. Home for the Bengals. Win. There's 6. At the Dallas Cowboys. Winnable game. Don't need it. Week 13, home against Washington. Win. 7 wins. There it is. 7-10. They can lose at Kansas City, at Cleveland, home for the Broncos, at the Colts, at the Chargers. It's a mistake. All right? That's a mistake. 6.5 is a mistake by FanDuel. And I don't get it. I mean, I looked at that and I was like, that's a miss. You can do it. You can bet it right now. I'm looking at it. 6.5 at FanDuel right now. Minus 130. Full unit bet on the Raiders to win 7 games. I bet this last year. If you guys have been OG listeners of the Daily Juice, Raiders to win 8 games last year, and they won 8. This is 1 win less. It was 7.5 last year. It's 6.5 this year, and we added a game. And we're adding fans to a home field environment that late in the year, you think the Bengals are going to come in here or Washington's going to come in here and be like, ooh, let's focus on football. No, their years are going to be over. Those are both bad football teams, and they're going to have to deal with the fact that Vegas is going to be the king of distractions. How do you keep your guys away from the casinos? How do you keep your players away from the nightlife? How do you keep your players in their rooms? This is post-COVID now, okay? This is not going to fly. You can't do what you just did. You can't say, hey, you violate this, you violate that. Vegas today, MGM, Caesars, Cosmo, Wynn, Strat, 100% capacity in the rooms and on the floor of the casinos. Vegas is back, baby, and this is May. You're telling me that in October or November? Yeah, ain't happening. Get ready for the Vegas flu. Get ready for the home field advantage. Get ready for Allegiant Stadium. 6.5 is way too low. Over 6.5 wins, minus 130 for the Raiders, 1 full unit. I will sprinkle these in as we go. When I see mistakes or I see numbers that I'm jumping on, I know you can say, Matt, you're betting football a win total in May? Yeah, because value is value. And if you can find it, jump on it, because cashing tickets is cashing tickets and value is value. Raiders over 6.5, minus 130 for a full unit, okay? And then I've got 1 full unit to play here with the AT&T Byron Nelson. Matthew Fitzpatrick in a head-to-head up against Matt Kuchar. This is interesting, and I posted this to the Discord channel as well because I was kind of shocked about that. You know, Matt Kuchar can be a guy who can be up and down. He can do some fun things, but Matthew Fitzpatrick, heading into the Byron Nelson, has gone tied for 5th, tied for 11th, tied for 10th, tied for 9th, tied for 18th, tied for 34th, and tied for 4th. Okay? I mean, he's not one of the longer hitters off the tee, but he's really accurate, really strong iron game, and a guy who can putt. He's a pretty good putter. So at Circa, and again, you have to find this, but Fitzpatrick could win this thing, all right? He's plus 2,000 to win this thing, but he could win this thing. A lot of people like Matthew Fitzpatrick to win the tournament. But because it's minus 180 against Matt Kuchar, this is where I had to lay a full unit. To get any real value out of this bet, I had to lay a full unit. So it could blow up in my face. I've not been good with golf. My record, I'll run through some of my records here in just 1 second. I know you guys like to hear. That was one of the things on the Discord chat. You guys wanted to hear more about my record, but I'm laying a full unit. Matthew Fitzpatrick, minus 180 against Matt Kuchar at the AT&T. It's a 4-round bet, all 4 rounds. Matt Fitzpatrick to finish ahead of Matt Kuchar here. Battle of the Mats. And if Fitzpatrick doesn't make the cut, I'm screwed and I'm down a full unit, but we've had a couple of good days. So I'm feeling a little bit flush and a little bit more aggressive. So why not go ahead and fire here on Matt Fitzpatrick, a player that I do like a lot. He's young, but he's heading into this tournament pretty hot into the Byron Nelson. So full unit, minus 180. Matthew Fitzpatrick, 4-round head-to-head against Matt Kuchar at minus 180. My golf record, in case you were curious, is 6-12, down 2.15 units. Okay, not good. So if I win this, I hit this. Okay, I'm going to make a little back here, not a ton, but I'll make a little back to kind of improve that record here on the PGA. For NBA player props, I am up. Let's see. I am now 58-37. Over 60% on those, and I am up nearly 4 units on NBA player props at a quarter unit, which is pretty good. For the NBA, what did I go yesterday? Going into the night, I was 42-28, up 5.71 units. And we didn't make an NBA play officially yesterday. There was only hockey, so nothing on that. Baseball improved to 10-16. So baseball gets to be now down 2.5 units for baseball. And so slowly chipping away after that really cold start. Hockey improved. We're now to 82 and 72, somewhere in that range, like a 54% hit rate for hockey. We're up now, like 1.5 units, somewhere in that range for hockey once we do the math here for after last night. So NBA continues to be really good. 60% hitting on NBA, 42 and 28. NBA player props still really hot, 58 and 37 now, well over 60% there on that. Major League Baseball, coming around. Hopefully going to get a little better from Major League Baseball here. PGA has not been good. NFL, last year during the NFL, during the regular season for the NFL, I went 75 and 65, up 6 units. Okay, that's where I was last year. For player props in the NFL, I went 64 and 53, up 3 units. So I was up 9 units for the NFL going into the playoffs, and that's where I fell straight on my face, and I lost 9 units, going 6 and 15 in the NFL playoffs, losing 9 units. So I was completely flat throughout the entire NFL season. I was totally flat. Up 9 during the regular season, down 9 during the postseason. Just horrific. I was so embarrassed about all that. It was awful, but that's where the record is currently. Okay, so to recap, 2 player props coming in the Discord channel later. Chicago -9, half a unit. Knicks first half, -2, somewhere in that range, half a unit. Raiders over 6.5, -130 for the season win total for 1 unit. Matthew Fitzpatrick, -180 over Matt Kuchar, 4 rounds, laying -180. So we're going a full unit because we're laying a lot of juice there. And I want it to be fun for 4 days. So it's basically a quarter unit every day. I'm willing to put it down there for golf and run with it a little bit to give me something to pay attention to for the Byron Nelson for golf here over the next 4 days. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Every single morning, it's the Daily Juice podcast being brought to you by BetMGM right here on BettingPros.com.